Friend with benefits means this phrase was brought to the public's attention in the 1990s by Alanis Morissette's song, Head Over Feet, which also served as the inspiration for the title of a film that was released in 2011 and starred Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis. The phrase, friend with benefits, refers to a friend with whom one has sex without having a romantic connection or making a commitment. In modern parlance, one might alternatively refer to this as a hookup. However, the concept of having a friend, or friends, with benefits is not extinct. FWB is even an acronym that can be used in text messages to refer to the concept. Flexuous means the final stretch of the trail consists of a winding path that climbs the mountain to an overlook that provides a breathtaking panorama of the valley below. This pine, the longleaf pine, is not confused, or at least shouldn't be, with any other tree. The combination of long, flexuous needles, in threes, white and silvery buds, and large cones make it distinctive in the southeast, although there are some instances in which our native/pine looks similar. Flea flicker means the flea flicker is an unconventional offensive play that takes place over the course of 3 stages. The play starts with the quarterback passing the ball to one of the running backs. The second step of the play is for the running back to make a lateral pass to the quarterback. The game is over, and the quarterback throws the ball to one of the receivers. A flea flicker is a high-risk trick play that is run in the hopes of befuddling the opposing defense. Finlandization means the process by which a smaller country maintains a neutral or positive approach toward a larger country, due to the influence of the larger country, is referred to as Finlandization. The word refers to Finland's neutral stance toward the Soviet Union throughout the duration of the Cold War. It was first proposed by political scientist Richard Lowenthal in the 1960s. It was agreed upon in a pact signed in 1948 that Finland would maintain its neutrality throughout the Cold War on the condition that the Soviet Union not invade the country. The term can be taken in a pejorative sense since it can imply that one nation is subject to the control of another nation that is more powerful and that the nation in question has chosen neutrality as a response to unfair pressure. Fidelity, meaning the quality or state of being faithful to someone or something, such as a spouse or one's country, is referred to as one's fidelity to that person or thing. Accuracy in particulars is another meaning of the word fidelity. When discussing electronic devices, the term fidelity refers to the degree to which those instruments faithfully duplicate anything, such as an image or a sound. Explore means this year, make the most of the opportunity to travel. This could be performed by going to a new location, but it could also be completed by gaining new knowledge, being more involved in your community, or meeting new friends. Accomplish means is this the year that you're finally going to put in the effort to master that new hobby or put your name in the hat for that major promotion. In such case, achieve might be the right term for what you want to do. Keep in mind that achieving goals does not necessitate always coming out on top. To bring to its objective or conclusion, carry out, perform, finish, is the meaning of this word. Abeyance, meaning a state of transitory inaction, is what the term abeyance refers to. It is usual practice to place the preposition in front of the word itself. Family moon means a honeymoon getaway that includes the newlywed couple's children is known as a family moon. This word can be used to refer to couples who had children from former relationships as well as couples who had children from previous relationships with their current partner before getting married. As you might assume, the term family moon is used in marketing and social media to refer to vacation destinations that are welcoming to children and offer a variety of activities that children may participate in. The concept of a honeymoon inspired the creation of the term family moon, which refers to a vacation taken by a married couple with their children. The offspring of the marriage are referred to as their family, hence the term family moon. The term baby moon is an example of a related word that makes use of the moon suffix and is derived from the word honeymoon. A trip taken by a couple to commemorate and get some rest before the impending birth of a child is called a baby moon. Exemplary means the work is a prime example of Romanticism written in the 18th century. The awards recognize the outstanding work of public school teachers throughout the city who motivate students, serve as an example of excellent teaching, and strengthen school communities. Edgification means, do you know of anything that pairs particularly well with a holiday? Learning. An educational vacation, sometimes known as an education, is a trip or vacation that includes educational components. The phrase has a wide range of applications and can be used to refer to a diverse range of holiday locations and activities, such as a visit to a well-known museum, a tour of a cultural heritage site, or an educational safari that focuses on animals. The terms education and vacation have been mashed together to form the word edgification. In contrast to vacation and friendcation, the whole meaning of the word vacation is used. This is due to the fact that if only the first part of the word were used, the meaning would be education. Exculpate means to clear from alleged fault or guilt. Dubaization means the term dubaization refers to the process by which a city or area experiences a quick era of development with futuristic design. The term dubaization was coined after the city of Dubai, which is located in the United Arab Emirates and is well known for the architectural growth it has experienced, beginning in the 1990s. Dust means a contronym is formed when the word adust is employed as a verb. Dust, to wipe the dust from every Saturday, he would dust the knickknacks on the bookshelves in order to keep them clean. Dust, to wipe the dust from dust, to wipe the dust from the. Domino means it is unclear where the name of this uncomplicated plaything came from, although it does have an unusual sound. The word domino, which is used to refer to the black and white blocks, may have originated from an earlier use of the word domino, which referred to a hooded, black cloak that was worn by priests or at masquerade celebrations. Drip means drip was a derogatory term used by past generations to refer to a person who is unattractive, boring, or colorless. If someone brings up your drip in conversation, this time it will be a positive thing. The term drip refers to a person's appearance or style, in particular when it is perceived to be exceptionally trendy or sexy, kind of like a newer version of swag. The history of this particular usage has been the topic of some discussion. Some people believe that the term drip originated from slang that was used on the television show Zoe 101, while others believe that it originated in the early 2000s hip-hop scene in Atlanta. In either case, from this point forward, you will know that you should consider it a compliment if someone comments on your drip. Dice means dice is the plural form of the word die, which often comes as a surprise to a lot of people. It is generally accepted that the word die derives from the Latin word datum, which can be translated as something which is decided. If you roll dice and land on boardwalk, then fate will have its way with you and require that you suffer another catastrophic loss of wealth. This will be a decree from fate. Doff means to doff. Anything implies to take off or remove something, such a hat or an article of clothing. Determined means to give direction or tendency to propel, is what the word determined means. Your aim to approach everything you do with passion, drive, and a sense of purpose might be reflected in the choice of this phrase to serve as your theme for the year. Dear John means if you find that you are the recipient of a Dear John letter, then unfortunately I have some bad news for you. A breakup letter is a letter from a woman informing her boyfriend, husband, or fiancé that she is ending their relationship, which is the full definition of the phrase breakup letter. It is generally accepted that it originated during World War II, when people were separated for extended periods of time and had to communicate with one another through the use of letters. Throughout history, biblical names such as John and Jack were some of the most frequent male names. As a result, these names evolved into generic stand-ins that may be used to refer to any man. Even though the phrase Dear John, or its feminine equivalent, Dear Jane, is not as commonly used as it once was, Taylor Swift chose to utilize it as the title of one of her more popular songs. Derrick meaning a derrick is a tall framework that is placed over an oil well to support the various pieces of drilling equipment. Decry meaning decry is a formal word that means to express strong disapproval of. Curiosity means where can you go to educate yourself and broaden your horizons this year. Inquisitiveness is another word for curiosity, which can be defined as a desire to study or know about anything. Investigate whether there is anything additional you can discover about yourself, the people and place you care about, and the environment in which you live. Curling means precision is absolutely necessary for curling. The game is played by two teams of 4 players each, who take turns sliding curling stones in the direction of a circular target known as the tee, which is located on the other side of the court. During its journey across more than 145 feet to the opposite side of the rink, the stone is assisted in its movement by members of the team who sweep the ice with a broom or brush to make the stone go more quickly. When the stones slide across the ice, they produce a loud noise, and the surface of the ice, which frequently has tiny ice bumps on it for better control, is often bumpy. Because to this aspect of the gameplay, the game is also referred to as the roaring game. The earliest known use of the word curling occurred between the years 1610 and 1620. The stones used in the modern version of the game are not your typical stones, but rather a piece of polished granite, weighing 42 pounds that was sourced from Ailsa Craig in Scotland and has a handle connected to the top of it. Cross-country skiing means whereas the emphasis in alpine skiing is on speed, the primary focus in cross-country skiing is on endurance. The activity consists of skiing over varied but mostly flat terrain on narrow skis that are attached to bindings that raise the heel of the ski boot when the skier lifts their heel. It is generally agreed that cross-country skiing is the earliest form of the sport, and that it was first developed more for transportation purposes than for athletic competition. Crayola means Alice Binney, the wife of Edwin Binney, the founder of this crayon manufacturing company, came up with the idea for the company's name. Crayola was her brainchild. Crayola claims that the word crayon comes from the French word craie, which translates to a chalk, and the word oleaginous, which is a fancy word that denotes something contains oil. Cornerback means the cornerback is a position on defense that is typically played in the middle of the defense, between the linebackers and the safeties. In most cases, cornerbacks will either engage in man coverage or focus their attention on a particular region, zone, of the playing field. Cornerbacks are frequently required to make split-second choices based on the unfolding of the play in front of them. Cousin means to deceive, win over, or influence with pleasing words or actions or by trickery. Courage means choosing courage as your word for the year doesn't mean you have to go in completely fearless. Courage is not the absence of fear, rather, it is the opposition to fear and mastery over dread. The novelist Mark Twain famously remarked, "To make a commitment to bravery is to make a commitment to moving forward, especially when doing so presents novel and unsettling challenges." Convoluted meaning the phrase, extremely intricate and difficult to understand, comes from the word convoluted. It is a word that can be used interchangeably with involved and intricate. Coffin corner kick means when a punt is called a coffin corner kick, it means that the punter is attempting to kick the ball out of bounds in the corner of the field that is adjacent to the end zone. The objective of this kick is to make it as difficult as possible for the opposition team to score a touchdown, by forcing them to travel almost the whole length of the field. Commitment means each person's interpretation of the concept of commitment as an annual theme may be unique. It could involve maintaining pledges made to other people, being more responsible with regard to satisfying obligations, or even making a commitment to loving and caring for oneself more. Christmas all season long means if you've ever been concerned about the creeping of Christmas, you might be surprised to learn that there is at least one place in the world that doesn't mind celebrating Christmas very early on and, in fact, takes great joy in doing so. If you've ever been concerned about Christmas creep, you might be surprised to learn that it's possible that no other country has a Christmas season that lasts as long as it does in the Philippines, but it's quite unlikely. The bulk of the people who call these group of islands home are devout Catholics, and the celebration takes the concept of seasonal creep to a level that is well above what we were expecting. From September through December, the months that end in those three letters are collectively referred to as the BR months in the Philippines, since Christmas celebrations continue during this time period. It is not unheard of to find Halloween decorations displayed in the store right next to the Christmas trees. The festivities continue right up until Epiphany, which ends on January 6 this year. The majority of Philippine traditions date back to the time when the country was under Spanish colonial rule, which lasted from 1521 until 1898. This is true in the traditions of the Catholic faith, as well as in the terminology used during this time of year. Spanish is the origin of a significant portion of the world's most frequently used vocabulary. Others are components of the national language of the Philippines, Tagalog, which is spoken by the majority of the population. These are the terms you need to know to comprehend Christmastime in the Philippines, from the cherished dinners to the distinctive gifts that people exchange with one another. Cleave means cleave is an excellent illustration of a contronym in its classic form. The term of cleave is derived from the Old English words clofin and ecleophian, and this is how it came to have two meanings that are diametrically opposed to one another. Clarity means it's possible that you haven't given much thought to what you hope to achieve in the coming year. That's okay. You can decide to make this the year that you focus on gaining insight into what you truly value, what you truly require, and what steps you want to take next. Chuggy means which are you, a cool person or a chug? It is claimed that the year 2013 was the year in which the word uncool first appeared. This word is used to describe items that are either out of style or trying too hard to be in style. According to a reporter for the New York Times named Taylor Lorenz, a woman named Gabby Rasson from California first used the term chuggy to characterize those who attempt to be fashionable but fail. In the year 2021, a video that went viral on TikTok helped bring the phrase to a wider audience. On TikTok, the hashtag chuggy got more than 10 million views by the month of May 2021. Chugginess and chugginess are two noun forms of the word, and a person who is considered to be chuggy is frequently referred to as a chug. Chugginess is another form of the noun. Caution is advised because slang evolves quickly, and some people may consider the term chuggy to already be slang. Chef's kiss means a chef's kiss is both a gesture and an expression that is used to indicate that something is wonderful or flawless. To do the gesture, first the fingers and thumb of one hand are pinched together, often in the shape of an OK sign, then the fingers and thumb are kissed, and finally the fingers and thumb are theatrically flung away from the lips. It is possible for it to have a serious or ironic tone. Challenge means the word challenge could serve as your guiding principle for the upcoming year if you're looking to shake up your routines, discover exciting new experiences, or make significant progress toward important objectives. A challenge does not always need to be of a very tough nature. The only requirement is that it must be anything that by its nature or character acts as a call to fight, contest, or extraordinary endeavor. Chess means this one is a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Chess derives its name from the Old French word échec, which is the plural form of the word échec, which means a check. The word check was derived from the Old Spanish word zak and the Arabic word shah, both of which were derived from the Persian word shah, which means king. This connection to the game of chess occurred quite early on in its history. The word was employed in the game back then, just as it is used now, to give fair warning to the adversary that the opponent's king was in imminent danger. While the meaning of the word chess has remained synonymous with the game over time, the meaning of the word check has broadened considerably in English. Cheetle means Cheetle is the brand name of the powdery residue that gets on your fingertips while you are eating the savory cheese snack known as Cheetos. Cheetle is often referred to as Cheetle dust. Captious meaning a typical definition of a capricious is tendency to find fault and make concerns. It can also imply plan to confuse, ensnare, or engage in debate, but this usage is far less common. Cancel culture means the term cancel culture refers to the widespread trend of people withdrawing their support for public individuals and organizations after those figures or businesses have engaged in behavior or made statements that are deemed to be disrespectful or disagreeable. The practice of cancel culture is typically referred to as being carried out in the form of group shaming on social media platforms. Bussin means you might use the term bussin to refer to anything that is outstanding in every way. This phrase comes from African American Vernacular English, AAV, and it is likely derived from several different meanings of bust, including to erupt, and to do well, and to delight. Many people believe that members of Generation Z have changed the meaning of the term by appropriating it for their own use. The term bussin most commonly refers to delectable cuisine in AAV, despite the fact that newer generations use it to describe everything from a fantastic clothing to nice music. Bunny means some terms associated with dating fell out of popularity due to the way in which they were employed in a sexist manner. The term bunny is an example of one of them. A lovely, charming, or alluring young woman, often one purportedly engaged in a sport or similar activity, is what people mean when they use the archaic slang term bunny. For instance, a beautiful woman at the beach may have been referred to as a beach bunny at one point in time. This term enjoyed a brief period of popularity in the 1970s but has since fallen out of favor. Today, the use of it is frequently seen as being offensive. Booty call means the use of the term booty call in the context of dating may also be traced back to the early 1990s. It could be a phone call, a text message, an email, or anything else with the intention of setting up a meeting to engage in consensual sexual activity. The phrase booty call is derived from the slang word booty, which has an intriguing origin story. In the early 1900s, booty was a crude slang phrase that referred to female genitalia. By the 1920s, however, booty had evolved into a more tame slang term that referred to buttocks. By the time booty call was created, the word booty had come to mean both the act of sex and a female body perceived to be a sex object. This is a frequent pattern for historical slang phrases that objectify women. Boo means it's possible that boo was the inspiration for bae, more on this term soon. This term from the 1990s refers to an endearing moniker for a spouse or other significant person. It is generally agreed that the term first appeared in hip-hop culture, and from there it made its way into popular culture. There is a possibility that boo is derived from the pet name baby or the French word beau. Bona fides, meaning the evidence of a person's qualifications or achievements, is what is referred to as their bona fides. Bound means cleave is one example of a contronym that can have two different meanings due to the fact that it actually has two separate etymologies. Another example is the word bound. The first interpretation derives from the bindan of the Old English language. The second interpretation derives from the Old Norse word bin, which can be translated as to get ready. Defined as being linked, attached, or held in place with a band or bond. The Mountie made a dash towards the woman who was tied to the railroad lines in order to rescue her. Bobsleigh means an Olympic competition known as the bobsleigh is called after the vehicle that serves as the sport's signature piece of hardware, the bobsleigh, or, in the US and Canada, the bobsled. The word bobsleigh comes from the verb bob, which means to move anything up or down with a bob or little jolt. This motion is what gives the bobsleigh its name. And that is a fitting description, as bobsledding requires two or more persons on a sledge, the British term for a sled, which is made up of two short connected sleds with a steering system and brake. Bobsledding is a winter sport that originated in the United Kingdom. A banked, icy run is navigated at high speeds, about 90 miles per hour, and the team that finishes with the best time wins. The Swiss developed the sport in the late 1800s when they outfitted skeleton sleds, which were effectively simply flat boards on long metal blades, with a mechanism to steer and a chassis for protection. Skeleton sleds were the basis for the sport. The inaugural Winter Olympics were held in Chamonix in 1924, and one of the sports that was featured was bobsleigh. Since then, it has participated in all of the Winter Olympics with the exception of one. These days, the Olympics feature a 1. Two-person race for men. 2. Two-person race for women. 3. Four-person men's race. 4. Monobob for women with just one rider. Blitz means a blitz is a high-risk move in which the defensive team attempts to bring down the ball carrier by sending more men into the field than is typical. A player who is tasked with doing this is known as a blitzer, and the action of blitzing is referred to as blitzing. Bleisure means let's get down to work, and after we're done, shall we take a vacation? The combination of work and pleasure travel is frequently referred to as bleisure travel, and the word bleisure is frequently used in that phrase. The phrase business tourism is frequently used to refer to work-related travel that also includes leisure activities. This can mean scheduling in time for a hiking excursion, squeezing in some sightseeing, or taking the kids along so they can have fun in between video conference calls. Because of the widespread COVID-19 epidemic, a rising number of people are being forced to perform their jobs from a remote location, which has contributed to the rise in popularity of bleisure travel. The combination of the terms business and leisure results in the oxymoronic word bleisure. The term bleisure refers to vacations that in some manner mix getting work done with finding time to rest or engage in other enjoyable activities. These travel words, along with many others, are frequently driven by marketing for the travel industry. For instance, you may come across the travel term open-jaw flight, which refers to a flight that departs from a different city from the one that a person arrived in addition to the well-known term red-eye flight, which refers to a flight that is taken during the hours in which people are typically asleep. You shouldn't be surprised if we continue to see plenty of new travel lingo because it is in the best interest of travel agencies to come up with snappy, marketable ways to sell vacation packages. Because of this, it is in the best interest of travel agencies to come up with new ways to sell vacation packages. Bisita means you are familiar with the protocol for managing bisitas, regardless of whether you are in charge of the Christmas party or are merely attending one. The word originates from the Spanish verb visitar, which means to visit. Thus, the meaning of the word is guest. It is not the only word that may be used to refer to visitors by those living in the Philippines. Guest in Tagalog is referred to as a panahan, whereas visit is referred to as a dala. Big mood means people post large moods online as a means of expressing their reactions to or descriptions of things that they feel to be related or resonant in some manner. A big mood can express an emotion at a particular instant as well as comment on a more general sentiment regarding life in general, at the same time. Yeah, existentialist nonsense. In reaction and response to content that is variably viewed as eccentric, authentic, dramatic, or ludicrous, big mood is frequently expressed with a tone that is comedic, judgmental, upbeat, or sardonic. Bijou means to commemorate the launch of her most recent collection. In New York City, jeweler Jessie Marlowe Lazowski threw a small dinner for a select group of guests. The fine jewelry baubles were displayed in a vitrine designed by Putnam and filled with layers of sand in colors reminiscent of a desert sunset. Guests took turns trying on the fine jewelry baubles, which were on full show. Bet means are you prepared to learn the next word in this slang phrase? Bet. As you may have surmised from the sentence before this one, bet is a term of affirmation, agreement, or acceptance similar to cool or I'm down. In addition to that, you can use it to convey uncertainty or skepticism. It's possible that black slang was the source of this usage. Given that betting can be linked back to the 1990s, this provides additional evidence that members of Generation Z appear to enjoy recycling fashion trends from that decade. Biathlon means the biathlon is created by combining the disciplines of cross-country running with target shooting. This is a Greek word that refers to an athletic competition that consists of two events that are held consecutively. Skiing while carrying a rifle was a common way of life in Scandinavia for many years. The first modern biathlon was hosted by the Norwegian military in 1912, marking the beginning of the sport. The modern Olympic biathlon was introduced for the first time at the 1960 Games held in Olympic Valley, California. The women's sport was not introduced until the 1992 Games. There are now 11 different events. 1. Combined relays. 2. Women's 15 km individual women's 7.5 km sprint. 3. Women's 10 km pursuit. 4. Women's 4 by 6 kilometers relay. 5. Women's 12.5 kilometers mass start. 6. Men's 20 kilometers individual, men's 10 kilometers sprint, men's 12.5 kilometers pursuit. 7. Men's 4 by 7.5 kilometers relay, men's 15 kilometers mass start. The races are run according to a time limit, and if a competitor misses a shooting target, additional time is added to their overall time. The exception to this rule is the pursuit events. In those, the individuals who finished first in their respective individual competitions will have a head start on the overall race, while the individuals who finished second through fifth will begin the competition based on the times they achieved in their most recent race. Berate means, don't berate yourself over canceling plans, the lifestyle expert said. It is sometimes more important that you allow for time to take care of yourself. During Russell's tirade Wednesday, he didn't shout at any particular player, but his team as a whole. I would never single someone out and berate them, Russell said. Behest meaning a behest is an authoritative order or an urgent prompting. Belief means belief implies a confidence, faith, trust. Choosing to make 2022 the year that you grow your capacity to believe in yourself, to investigate and test the validity of your own deeply held views, or to motivate others to believe in a particular movement or cause is one way to make 2022 the year that you focus on believing. Barbie means the fact that Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts is something that only true aficionados of the doll would be able to tell you. The invention of the doll was credited to a woman named Ruth Handler, who was also a successful businesswoman. The fact that Barbie's lover Ken is named after Ruth's son Kenneth is a bonus piece of trivia that you might find a little unsettling. Becky means the character Becky represents the archetype of a white woman, namely one who is ignorant of or exploits the benefits of her social status. It's also common to make fun of a young white woman by calling her basic and referring to her as a Becky. Beau means this term of endearment refers to a male lover or darling, and it is derived from the word beau. It is possible that you may think of it as a more elegant and more traditional manner of saying boyfriend. Although the term beau was not used as a dating phrase until the 1720s, the first known use of the word beau in the English language was around the late 1200s. This word comes from the French word beau, which literally translates to the lovely. Balkanization means when a major region or country breaks up into numerous smaller groups that share a similar culture and history. This phenomenon is frequently referred to as a balkanization. It can also refer to conflict that occurs within a single state between the numerous ethnic groups who live there. The term balkanization refers to the process by which large regions, such as the Balkans or the Balkan Peninsula, are broken up into many smaller countries. This process occurred for the first time after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, and then again after the fall of the Soviet Union and the breakup of Yugoslavia. Bae means, and this brings us to a much more recent term, when you think of millennial dating slang, the word bae is almost impossible to keep from coming to mind. This word first appeared in the early 2000s and, with the help of the internet, was able to enjoy widespread popularity throughout the 2010s. Affectionate shorthand for referring to one's lover or spouse, bae is often used in modern culture. It is speculated that it is a condensed form of other common pet names, such as babe or baby, and it most likely originated in Black English. It has been suggested that bae is an acronym for before anybody else, but despite how entertaining this idea may seem, it is actually merely a misunderstanding. Balance means if your life were a pie, what proportion of it would be devoted to things like work, family, friends, and taking care of yourself? This year can be the best time to pursue equilibrium, especially if one part of the pie is hogging too much of your attention and resources at the expense of the others. Vacation means, simply put, a vacation is any kind of vacation that you take with your bae, also known as your significant other. In travel marketing and advertising, the term vacation is frequently used to refer to romantic getaways or places that are considered as lands of love. The term vacation is a fusion word that is formed by combining the word bae with the cation portion of the word vacation. An additional marketing perk is provided by the fact that a vacation rhymes with a vacation. The word vacation is derived from a staycation, which refers to a vacation in which the traveler stays at their primary residence and has become a standard term in the tourism industry. Baby Yoda means the character in the Star Wars TV series The Mandalorian, known simply as the Child, is more commonly referred to by the nickname Baby Yoda. Yoda, a much-loved figure from the Star Wars franchise, is a fellow member of the same species as he is. The cute and endearing appearance of Baby Yoda contributed to the character becoming a popular meme on the internet. Backup means the use of the term fine has the potential to give rise to some genuine misunderstandings regarding the degree to which something is good or not superb. Excellent being of the highest possible standard. In order to be ready for the Queen's arrival, the domestic staff polished the finest silver and meticulously cleaned the most expensive linens. Askew meaning the phrase askew can be translated as out of line or not straight. Audible means the term audible refers to the situation in which a team's offense or defense makes a play decision at the line of scrimmage rather than in the huddle. Audibles are utilized to make a last-second adjustment to a play call that has already been decided. Arabization means the promotion of the Arabic language and Arabic culture in governmental institutions, educational institutions, and the media is referred to as the Arabization process. Specifically, the term Arabization is frequently used to refer to the policies that are enforced by governments in countries that were historically under the rule of non-Arab conquerors and are now undergoing the process of Arabization. Antithetical meaning the term antithetical refers to something that is exactly opposite of or opposed to. An IOP means an IOP is a phrase that became popular after being used in a video performed by drag queen Jasmine Masters. Since then, it has been pigeonholed as a term used exclusively by VSCO girls. The expressions IOP and IOP can be used in a lighthearted manner to convey astonishment, surprise, or embarrassment. Americanization means there are two distinct concepts that can both be referred to by the term Americanization. In the early 1900s, many people believed that the best way to instill cultural values that were regarded as being quintessentially American was to Americanize the large number of new immigrants who were entering the United States at the time. This was a term that originated in the United Kingdom. During and after its use, this strategy has been criticized on the grounds that it compels immigrants to abandon their native traditions. In more modern times, the term Americanization is frequently used to refer to the dissemination of American culture throughout the rest of the world, particularly through the influence of American media and popular culture. This term may be used to allude to the widespread accessibility of American popular culture, which has been recognized for its impact on the cultures of a great number of other countries. Aguinaldo means aguinaldos stand out among the various presents that are exchanged during the holiday season because of their uniqueness. Bonus is what the term means when translated from Spanish. Aguinaldos are often bestowed upon the recipient by their godparents, aunts and uncles, grandparents, or other extended family members. The latter are typically the ones who contribute the most. One custom requires young people to form a line and pay respect to their parents and other adults in their lives by participating in a ceremony known as pagmamano. This requires them to take their parent or other adult's hand and place it on their own forehead. One further method for acquiring aguinaldos is to perform Christmas caroling in exchange for the coins. Alpine means alpine skiing at the Olympics, often known as downhill skiing, is a series of competitions that includes some of the quickest events that can be completed on two skis. The objective is uncomplicated: race to the bottom of the mountain course as fast as you can. The Alps, which are the greatest and highest mountain range in Europe, are where this shape derives its name. On these lengthy and twisting downhill courses, racers can approach nearly 100 miles per hour in their speeds. Alpine skiing made its debut at the Olympic Games in 1936 in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany, with a competition that included downhill and slalom. This event was open to both male and female competitors, more on that later. There are now 11 alpine competitions at the Olympics, all of which require competitors to earn the fastest time possible. Africanization means the concept of Africanization can be applied in many different contexts. It can mean to bring under African, especially Black African, influence or to adapt to African demands, or it can mean to make African, especially to hand control of policy, governance, etc., to Africans, which is a more specific meaning. Both meanings are used interchangeably. It is a phrase that is frequently employed while talking about post-colonial Africa and post-apartheid South Africa. In the context of this discussion, the term Africanization refers to the process of giving Black Africans back their political, economic, and civil power. Afghanization means when discussing the presence of United States soldiers in Afghanistan, particularly in the years leading up to and following the withdrawal of U.S. forces in 2021. The context in which the term Afghanization is most commonly found and utilized is that of Afghanization. In particular, it is a reference to the plan adopted by the United States government to work toward handing over political and military power in Afghanistan to the Afghan troops. The phrase can also be used independently to refer to the process of linguistic and ethnic assimilation that occurs within the country. Ad-lib means to improvise or to deliver spontaneously, is what is meant by the term ad-lib. Adroit means having or showing skill, cleverness, or resourcefulness in handling situations. O-line means the offensive line, abbreviated as O-line, consists of the 5 players who line up in front of the quarterback and are tasked with the responsibility of shielding the quarterback from defenders. As a general rule, offensive linemen are only permitted to block defenders. They are not permitted to run the ball or catch passes because of the regulations. Okay, boomer means okay. Boomer is an online slang phrase that has gone viral and is used frequently in a funny or satirical manner to call out or ridicule out-of-touch or close-minded attitudes associated with the baby boomer generation and older people in general. The word originated in the United Kingdom. Obsequious meaning to be obsequious is to be characterized by or showing a fawning attentiveness, which translates to ready to help or obey someone important. Obsequious people are overly eager to help or obey significant people. Nordic means ski jumping and cross-country skiing are both components of the Nordic combined competition. The word of ski, which is connected to the Old Norse ski, which meant stick of wood, comes from Norway, where people have been using skis for hunting and other activities for thousands of years. Ski is related to the word stick of wood. The Holmenkollen Ski Festival in Oslo, Norway, in 1892 is credited with being the event that gave birth to the sport of Nordic combined. The Nordic combined is one of the original events that was included in the Winter Olympics. It was initially performed during the inaugural Winter Olympics, which were held in Chamonix, France, in 1924, and has been performed at every Olympic Games since then. There is currently only one men's competition in the Olympics, and it consists of 3 different events. These events include both a ski jump and a cross-country skiing race. Nurture means the phrase, to feed and protect, comes from the word nurture. That does not need to be taken literally at all. It could entail nourishing your spirit, guarding your time, tending to your relationships, or watching out for your personal health. In the end, care and nurture are essentially interchangeable terms. No cap means you've probably seen the terms cap and a no cap used on social media, but these terms actually go back several decades further than social media and Gen Z combined. When talking about something, to cap about it is to boast, exaggerate, or lie about it, according to Black slang. This interpretation can be traced all the way back to the early 1900s at the very least. Therefore, no cap has developed into a slang term that can also be used to mean no deception or for real. The culture of hip-hop was the primary force behind the development of no cap, despite the fact that its current popularity is centered on Generation Z. Noche buena means a good night, is what Noche buena truly means when translated from Spanish. When discussing Christmas in the Philippines, this expression refers to Christmas Eve, which is a night filled with festivities including feasting, partying, and general merriment immediately following the celebration of the midnight mass. On Christmas Eve, many children enjoy opening their presents, with the expectation that Santa will bring even more the next morning. When the Philippines were still a part of Spain, this custom was first established. After attending Mass during the evening, people would come home to eat. It's not usually during this lunch in the off hours when the lechon is brought out, though. The Christmas Eve meal known as Noche Buena in the Philippines often consists of ham and cheese, fruit cake, hot chocolate, bread, and various fruits. Necking means what some people may refer to as making out today was formerly referred to as necking. Traditional use of the phrase necking refers to kissing, caressing, and other sexual behavior between partners that does not involve stimulation of the genitals or sexual intercourse. Case in point, you might be shocked to learn that one of the oldest recorded instances of necking to signify kissing really occurred as early as 1825. This term has been popular at various intervals throughout the past several decades, but you might be astonished to learn that it was first used in 1825. Nerf means the inventor Reingeier oversaw the work of a group of people who were tasked with developing the first Nerf ball. The marketing team at Parker Brothers decided to give a whole line of foam toys the moniker Nerf, after coming up with the idea for the term. Geier claims that the word Nerf was derived from the term Nerf bars, which are protective devices installed in Jeeps to guard against collisions and other types of damage. Monito monita means even if they haven't heard the term monito monita, it's likely that those who work in offices in the United States are acquainted with the concept. You basically play a game of a Secret Santa, using the same basic principles, such as drawing names to determine who your present recipients will be. A holiday version of this game is just as widespread in the Philippines as it is in the United States. There are a few variations that some people follow that make Monito Manita unique. Sometimes people give a small gift every day or every week according to a theme, like something soft, something sweet, or something round. In other cases, people give a small gift every day or every week without any particular theme. On the day of the Christmas celebration, the names of those who sent gifts are disclosed to the recipients. One custom requires young people to form a line and pay respect to their parents and other adults in their lives by participating in a ceremony known as pagmamano. This requires them to take their parent or other adult's hand and place it on their own forehead. One further method for acquiring aguinaldos is to perform Christmas caroling in exchange for the coins. Muff means when a player touches the ball but is unable to securely hold onto it, they have committed a muff. As an illustration, a punt returner may mishandle the ball and allow it to fall to the ground without ever truly snatching it from the air. A muffed ball results in the same kind of turnover as a fumble because the opposing team is allowed to retrieve it. Mongolization means the process through which the language and culture of peoples whose lands were conquered by the Mongol Empire became integrated into Mongol society is frequently referred to by the term Mongolization. This process took place over a significant amount of time for a great number of different peoples, and it frequently involved the gradual mixing of their traditional culture with Mongol civilization. Misa de gallo means a mass is what a misa refers to, and o of the rooster is what de gallo signifies. They come together to form what is known as Roosters, Massachusetts. A mass celebrated at 12 o'clock in the evening on Christmas Eve is referred to by this word in Spanish-speaking countries throughout Latin America and the Philippines. In the Philippines, some people will use this term interchangeably when referring to simbang gabi. Read on for more information. Mindfulness means, have you a hard time remembering what happened a year ago? It's possible that this is a hint that you could benefit from developing a mindfulness practice. Techniques for practicing mindfulness may include slow, deep breathing, meditation, or even just paying attention to your sensations as you move through the environment. Mindfulness is about being present in the now. Mettle means the capacity to persevere in the presence of obstacles is referred to as mettle. Meld means to blend or mix together. Megxit means a slang term for Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's decision to step down from their top posts in the British royal family, is a Megxit. This decision comes after the couple announced their engagement. Mandar means the term mandar refers to a middle-aged woman who lusts after younger men and is the male equivalent of the term cougar. The term mandar refers to older males who desire relationships with women who are substantially younger than they are. Man coverage means man coverage is a type of pass coverage in which a defensive player is tasked with guarding a particular offensive player. Man coverage is sometimes known as one-on-one coverage. The primary responsibility of the defensive player is to stop an individual offensive player from repeatedly catching the ball or making a significant play in the game. Main character means, do you ever daydream about becoming the lead role in your favorite movie instead of just watching it? The concept of the main character emerged among Generation Z as a result of a fad on the video sharing platform TikTok. In these videos, users either post a montage of their life in which they star as the main character or they reenact popular scenes from their favorite films, and television series. The term main character can also be used to refer to a person who is the focus of widespread anger on social media. I visited Twitter, for instance, to find out who the most important character of the day is. Maligayang Pasko means Merry Christmas. Is what Maligayang Pasko literally means in the Filipino language. It is a regular thing to hear when going about one of the countries that is most dedicated to celebrating Christmas, in its fullest form, as you may assume it to be the case. There are further variants such as Magpasko, which means to celebrate Christmas. The word Christmas originates from the Spanish word Pascua, which derives its name from the Hebrew word Pesa, which means Passover. Pasko is the Samoan word for Christmas. As time progressed, the term evolved to be used to apply to Christian holidays as well, such as Christmas, Easter, and the Epiphany. In Mexico, the most accurate way to refer to Christmas is using the phrase, Pascua de Navidad, whereas in the Philippines, simply using Pasko is sufficient. Luge means the bobsleigh and the luge are two events that are very comparable to one another. Luge is French for sledge. In point of fact, the luge, the bobsleigh, and the skeleton all compete on the same course. The sleds themselves, in addition to the ways in which they are utilized, each have their own unique characteristics. Luges can accommodate either one or two persons at a time. The sled itself resembles a bobsleigh that has been stripped down to its essential components and does not have any protective sides or brakes. Lugers must redistribute their weight, primarily through their calves, which are positioned on the sled's runners in order to turn. Luges, which are operated in the same manner as bobsleds but allow riders to achieve speeds of up to 85 miles per hour, are ridden with the riders lying on their backs with their feet facing front. The first luge tracks were constructed in the 1800s by hotel owners in Switzerland for the purpose of entertaining tourists. The first international luge course was opened in Davos, Switzerland, in 1883. Luge was first included in the Olympics in 1964, when they were hosted in Innsbruck, Austria. Since 1976, the competitions have been contested on the same track that is used for bobsledding. In modern times, the following have been added to the sport: men's singles, men's doubles, competitions for women competing individually and in teams in the relays. Lutz means another type of jump. The Lutz is called for the athlete who was the first to successfully complete the maneuver. It entails the skater leaping from the back outside edge of one skate onto the back outer edge of the opposing skate, turning 360 degrees in the air, and landing on the back outer edge of the first skate. Alois Lutz, an Austrian figure skater, is credited with being the first to do the leap in 1913. This move belongs to the family of toe leaps, in which the skater digs the toe pick into the ice before jumping or pivoting in order to complete the move. It is one of the toe pick maneuvers that has the highest difficulty rating possible. In addition to the basic Lutz, which consists of one revolution, there is also a double Lutz and a triple Lutz, both of which entail performing one or two additional rotations while in the air. Low-key or high-key means the terms quiet, restrained, moderate, and easygoing are often synonyms for low-key. In the context of slang, it refers more to an understated emotion or something that you wish to keep under wraps. For example, having a low-key crush on a celebrity or being thrilled about a cheesy new movie that is about to be released are both examples of this. Alternately, one might use the term high-key to convey open excitement about something, such as being high-key immersed in the continuing drama involving Taylor Swift and Jake Gyllenhaal. It's a fun fact that the word low-key was first employed as an adjective, but nowadays it's also commonly used as an adverb, as the examples we provided indicate. Little Black Book means strangers in this day and age have matches on dating apps and random people in their direct messages. Back in the day, they might have kept a record of important information in a little black book. This expression refers to a personal telephone directory, which, in the past, were typically pocket-sized books bound in black, that lists girlfriends or, less frequently, boyfriends. Although physical address books were much more widespread before computers and mobile phones took over, just because someone uses the phrase, little black book, does not always entail that they have a real copy of the book. Rather, it gave the impression that the person in question had a significant number of dates or was somewhat of a ladies' man. Lechon means food plays a significant role during the Christmas celebrations in the Philippines. To be more specific, lechon. The most fundamental definition of lechon is spit-roasted pig, and the word lechon has its roots in Spanish. The belly of the pig is then packed with various herbs, alliums, and spices, and the skin is rubbed with coconut water, soy sauce, soda, or milk in order to provide a particularly crisp texture. After that, all that is left to do is wait until the pig is put on a spit and carefully tossed over hot coals for several hours. This part of the process can take quite some time. If you take a stroll around the center of town, you can come across lechon weighing up to 45 pounds that is being roasted on rows of bamboo spits. Although La Loma in Manila is also well known for its lechon, the city of Cebu is the most well known for its lechon. There are other regional varieties of lechon, though. Lechon is a dish that is considered to be a centerpiece on the Christmas table for many families all around the archipelago. Lechon, often spelled lechon, is a dish that is not only popular in Spain and the Philippines, but also in Cuba and Puerto Rico, where it is considered to be a dish of significant national importance. Lechon is typically presented to diners in its whole, with diners receiving portions of the tender meat from the inside of the dish along with bits of the incredibly crispy red skin. Line of scrimmage means in American football. The line of scrimmage is an imaginary line that runs from the center of the field to either side of the ball while it is not in play. Before the snap of the ball and the start of play, neither team is permitted to cross this line in any way. Leviathan, meaning something that is enormous or intimidating, is called a leviathan. Lenient means not harsh, severe, or strict. Lego means according to Lego, the name Lego comes from the Danish phrase play well, which is where the firm got its inspiration for the name. Latinization means Latinization can refer to a number of different things, depending on the context. The process of converting a language into a script that makes use of the Latin alphabet is also referred to as Latinization. To Latinize a text, a translator might, for instance, take characters written in Chinese or Hindi and transform them into letters written in Latin. In the context of religion, the term Latinization can refer to the process by which non-Latin Christian churches were forced to conform to the practices of the Latin and Roman Catholic Church, primarily during the Middle Ages. This was done in an effort to bring these churches into line with the Latin and Roman Catholic Church. A place is said to be Latinized if it develops characteristics that are analogous to those of Latin American countries. For instance, places in the United States such as Miami that have a sizable Hispanic population are sometimes referred to. Keen means are you interested in acquiring knowledge on the next term on the list? A person who is keen is one who is eager, inquisitive, or passionate. In the 1950s, it was also often used to signify that someone had a crush on someone. Someone might say something like, "I think she's keen on him," for instance. People who were considered to be particularly appealing or charming were frequently referred to as being peachy sharp. At the very least, as early as the 1910s, people started using the word keen as a slang phrase for the word great. Lateral means a lateral pass, also known simply as a lateral, is a type of passing motion that involves one player tossing the ball to another player who is either parallel to them or behind them. A lateral pass, as opposed to a forward pass, can be lawfully executed by any player on the field, including defensive players and players who are returning kicks. Kitsch meaning a thing that appeals to popular or lowbrow taste and is generally of poor quality. Kitsch can be defined as anything that appeals to popular taste. Kaleidoscope means the psychedelic toy known as a kaleidoscope gets its name from a combination of the Greek words kalos, which means beautiful, and eidos, which means shape, along with the combiner scope, which was formerly used to mean an instrument for viewing. The history of this toy is actually quite straightforward. When it's all said and done, a kaleidoscope is a viewing tool that allows you to observe a variety of stunning shapes. Karen means a self-centered, unpleasant, middle-aged white lady is referred to as a Karen, in a sarcastic slang word. Karen is typically portrayed as a nagging mother from the Generation X era, and she is often depicted as having a blonde bob haircut. She is also depicted as asking to speak to the managers of retail and restaurant establishments in order to voice complaints, or make demands, especially when she is featured in memes. Joy means if you set your sights on experiencing joy, you may discover that you are drawn to situations in which you can laugh, have fun, feel good about yourself, and show love to others. Another goal could be to increase the amount of joy that people experience by being more kind, open, honest, and vulnerable. Jettison meaning literally, to throw anything overboard, implies to lighten a ship or aircraft that is in peril. Figuratively, to get rid of something is the meaning of the word jettison. Jenga means Leslie Scott, who was born in Tanzania and spent her childhood traveling throughout Africa, is the person who came up with the idea for the game of Jenga. When Scott was younger, she and her family enjoyed playing a game in which they would try to build brick towers that were as tall as they could get without the structures toppling over. In the future, Scott would develop a game based on this concept and name it Jenga, which is derived from the Swahili word kujenga, which means to create. Jeopardize means to put anything in jeopardy, implies to put it in peril or risk. Japanization means in the field of economics, a period of deflation and economic stagnation in a country is referred to as a Japanization, and the term Japanization was used to describe this phenomenon. This phrase refers to Japan, a country whose prolonged economic decline in the 1990s caused the country to experience a serious financial catastrophe during a period that is now often known as the lost decade. Jacks means the word jacks, which can also be spelled knucklebones, comes from the pieces that are required in order to play the game. Jacks is a shortened form of the word jackstones. The original title for the game was called Checkstone, and it referred to the little stones that were used in the game. Jackstone is a variation of the word checkstone. Jack-in-the-box means it is possible to trace the origin of the word jack-in-the-box all the way back to the 1500s, when it was used to refer to con artists who would substitute empty boxes for boxes that were meant to contain cash in them. However, the actual toy is frequently claimed to have been inspired by the legend of Sir John Shorn, who is said to have imprisoned the devil inside of an old boot. This is a common theory regarding the origin of the toy. It is supposed that the early Jack-in-the-Boxes depicted this narrative by placing a little wooden devil inside the spring-loaded box. This is how the game got its name. If this is the case, then the original Jack who was found within the box is truly the devil himself. Inane meaning to be lacking significance, meaning, or point is what we mean when we say something is inane. Synonyms are meaningless, vapid, or lacking in substance. Interloper meaning an intruder is a person or object that enters a location or a sphere of activity without authorization. Imagination means taking an imaginative attitude to the new year is one way to make the most of the opportunities it presents. It's possible that you may start a new creative practice, redesign your workplace space, experiment with new ways to interact with friends and loved ones, or even do something that's completely out of the blue, such as arrange a trip that takes you by surprise or engage in a brand new activity. Ice the kicker means when a coach ices the kicker, they prevent the kicker from kicking a field goal by calling a timeout before the kicker has the opportunity to attempt the kick. The idea behind this play is that it will force the kicker to deliberate over the kick for a longer period of time, increasing the likelihood that they will make a mistake when it comes time for them to actually kick the ball. Honesty means tell the truth. What is it that you truly desire to come out of this year? It's possible that being honest means committing to being more vulnerable, letting go of excuses, and following your true passions. These are all things that might help you become more honest. Hype House means Hype House is a group of youthful content creators and influencers on social media platforms, most notably the video app TikTok, who have come together to form a collective known as Hype House. In addition, it is the name of the home in Los Angeles that is utilized by the band and in which some of its members reside. Huddle means the ring of offensive or defensive players that congregate in the huddle in between plays, in order to decide what they are going to do when the following play begins is known as the huddle. Hits different means there are moments when something is so incredible that it moves you to a whole new level emotionally or spiritually. The correct phrase for this that is used by Gen Z is hits different. In this context, to have a marked effect or influence on, to affect severely, is the meaning of the verb hit. Take, for instance, the new album by Adele, It Just Feels Different. It is generally accepted that members of the LGBTQ community, namely popular YouTubers Daniel Howell and Phil Lester, were the ones who introduced this term. In 2019, it became more well-known as a result of the rise of social media apps such as TikTok and Twitter. The phrase "it hits different" is now commonly used in a broad variety of contexts. Hail Mary means a Hail Mary, also known as a Hail Mary pass, is a desperation toss in which the quarterback throws the ball a long distance down the field with the expectation that one of his receivers will leap to their feet and catch it. Hold my beer means the phrase, hold my beer, is commonly used in humorous contexts to refer to a moment before a thoughtless person does something risky or foolish. On the internet, the phrase, hold my beer, is used as a way to make light of decisions made by public people or businesses that are regarded as being unwise. Gramping means it is time to bring together people of different generations through the practice of gramping. Gramping is a term that refers to the practice of grandparents taking their grandkids on vacation with them. This term can be used to refer to trips spent camping, but it is also used to refer to any form of journey or travel that grandchildren spend with their grandparents. Gramping is a term that is often used to refer to locations that are accessible to both younger people and older people, and that also offer a variety of activities that may be enjoyed by both age groups simultaneously. The term gramping is a portmanteau formed by combining the elements of camping and the prefix grand dash, which is present in the words grandparent and a grandchild, run. It is constructed similarly to the widely used travel term glamping, which refers to glamorous camping, in which a person packs luxury on a camping vacation. The phrase glamping was popularized in the 1990s. Gratitude means it's easy to take things for granted, whether they're opportunities, pleasures, or even the people we care about. An effort should be made to combat it by regularly engaging in acts of thankfulness throughout the year. It's possible that expressing appreciation could mean offering more words of affirmation, keeping a gratitude notebook, practicing meditation, or even just saying thank you more frequently. Going steady means it used to be common practice to refer to being in a committed relationship with a significant person as going steady. This expression, which dates back to the early 1900s, meaning to date one person exclusively, because at the time, you were seeing the same person on a consistent basis, steady. As a noun, steady can also be used in a manner analogous to that of boyfriend or girlfriend to refer to the person with whom one is involved in a romantic relationship. For instance, he proposed to her the idea of being his constant. Garble meaning to garble something means to modify or distort it in such a way as to produce an incorrect impression or change the meaning. Gasconade means the purpose of confident speech or behavior that is aimed at impressing other individuals is known as gasconade. Furby means, if you can believe it, the furry, gremlin-like Tamagotchi-like creatures that were popular in the 1990s and were known as Furbies, were actually inspired by the Tamagotchi. David Hampton and Caleb Chung, two of the people responsible for creating the Furby, were fans of the Tamagotchi but saw that children were unable to pat or snuggle with it in the same way that they frequently did with real dogs or with plush toys. The name of Furball was at first given to the new fuzzy pet toy that Hampton acquired, but over time, the name of Furby has become more common. Fumble means in the sport of football. A fumble occurs when a player loses control of the ball after he or she has grabbed or carried it. It is a turnover when the other team is permitted to take up the ball after it has been knocked loose. Galvanize means to cause people to take action on something that they are excited or concerned about. Frisbee means in connection with the topic of genericization. We also have a toy that was in danger of falling into this category. The historic Frisbee Pie Company in Connecticut is where the word of frisbee was first coined and registered as a trademark. The former name for the toy was Pluto Platters, however, college students reportedly referred to them as Frisbees, due to the fact that they resembled pie tins from a bakery. This is according to the narrative. Wham-O did not like the previous name for this toy very much, so they chose to switch to this new moniker for a toy that is also commonly referred to as a flying plastic disc. Friendcation means the phrase a friendcation refers to a vacation in which you spend time with your friends, as you might have guessed. It is possible to take any kind of vacation and call it a friendcation, as long as you go with at least one other person. The term friendcation is frequently used in the context of marketing and social media to refer to vacation destinations that contain activities that can be enjoyed in groups, such as hang gliding or club hopping. A friendcation, much like a vacation, is nothing more than a hybrid construction that combines the word friend with the ending of the word vacation. Focus means it is widely believed that Bruce Lee said, "The successful warrior is the average man, with laser-like focus." Citation needed. It's possible that you won't be going into war in the new year, but the point is that anyone can achieve great things if they make it their goal to keep their concentration on the things that are most important to them. Vibing means when we were younger, we used to hang together and have fun. It's possible that you'll discover them vibing instead now. Vibing is a state achieved through unwinding, connecting with positive emotions, and generally making the most of one's surroundings. It is very similar to the older slang term vibe, which dates back to the late 1960s and refers to a sensation or flavor of the kind defined. Vibe and this term are very closely connected. Vibing can be employed in a variety of contexts, but it is most commonly seen when someone is getting lost in a wonderful discussion or piece of music. Zoomer means a member of Generation Z who was born in the latter half of the 1990s or the early 2000s, is also referred to as a Zoomer. It is possible to use it with a tone that is neutral, sarcastic, or sardonic. Yo-yo means the string toy that may be used to stroll dogs and shoot moons is known by a variety of names, but the majority of people refer to it as a yo-yo. This name derives from a patent that was submitted in the United States during the 1920s by Pedro Flores, who was a Filipino yo-yo producer. The name was inspired by a popular moniker for the toy in the Philippines. It is not known for certain which of the Philippine languages yo-yo originates from. Nonetheless, the name kum-kum translates to yo-yo in Tagalog. Because of its immense popularity, the term yo-yo has been given the status of a generic noun. This implies that the term can now be used to refer to any yo-yo, regardless of brand, and that no American firm can legally patent this word. Yahtzee means Yahtzee. The origin of this dice game's name is not as complicated as you might think at first glance. It is stated that the origin of the name Yahtzee may be traced back to a Canadian couple who used to play the game on their yacht. The game was also referred to as the yacht at sea game. It was played on a yacht. Decades would pass, trademarks would be filed, ownership of the game would frequently change hands, and eventually, the yacht game would be rebranded as Yahtzee and sold in stores. Wingman means a man who helps a friend with romantic connections, especially one who helps the friend attract a lady, is an example of what the phrase a wingman means when applied to the world of dating. Although it has fallen out of favor in recent decades, the phrase going steady is still commonly used in the dating world. The term pilot in a plane that flies immediately outside and behind the right wing of the leading aircraft, in order to give protective support, dates back to the 1940s in the United States Air Force. This is when the word wingman was first used. It would appear that looking for love necessitates the help of a protective shield. Wildcat means there are a variety of unconventional offensive formations, including the wildcat formation, in which the ball is snapped to an offensive player other than the quarterback. The execution of wildcat plays can frequently lead to extremely unexpected outcomes, such as the quarterback collecting a touchdown pass. Wiffle ball means David Mullany was the one who came up with the idea for the wiffle ball back in the 1950s. During that time period, baseball strikes were referred to as withs by Mullany's son and the other children in the neighborhood. There were a lot of withs in the early days of the wiffle game because the early wiffle balls were difficult to hit and easy to curve. The name stuck, and to this day, Mullany's family continues to produce wiffle balls. Whether means only when it is employed in the verb form does the term weather become a contronym. This is not a discussion on the meaning of the phrase as a noun, which is the condition of the atmosphere with respect to wind, temperature, and other factors. Weather, to subject something to the elements, to cause it to deteriorate. The years of wind, rain, and snow had taken their toll on the house's paint, and it was badly chipped and worn. VSCO girl means the word VSCO girl refers to a young woman, typically of white race, who uses the photo editing software VSCO to share trendy photographs of herself. The term is typically used as an insult. Wearing scrunchies and Birkenstock sandals, drinking out of reusable water canisters from hydro flask, saying SKSKSK and IU, and generally seeking attention online are all stereotypes of the VSCO lady. Vocation meaning a strong desire to engage in a specific line of work or path of action can be referred to as having a vocation, while the term evocation can also be used to refer to a specific occupation. Vietnamization means Vietnamization is the name given to a tactic that was used by the Nixon administration in an attempt to halt U.S. involvement in the immensely unpopular Vietnam War. This policy was given the moniker Vietnamization. The plan called for the United States to hand over full military responsibilities to South Vietnamese forces, while simultaneously preparing South Vietnam to engage in combat with North Vietnamese forces. The process that has come to be known as Afghanization has been compared to Vietnamization on occasion due to the similarities between the two wars' failures and other characteristics of the conflicts. Understood the assignment means if you use Twitter, you've probably seen messages about performers who understood the task at hand or who were a perfect fit for the role they were portraying, and the compliments they received for their performance. This is a slang expression that means someone was successful at something they needed to do or completely nailed something they needed to do. This does not only apply to well-known figures. It is possible that a person who is well-dressed or who has the exact response you're looking for understood the task. When you say this about someone, it's the same as awarding them an A+ grade. Vestige means a vestige is a trace, mark, or visible sign left by something lost or vanished. Two-faced means at the moment, there are only 3 guests present at the dinner party. At the stroke of midnight, 2 persons had already left. What is the current head count here at the party? Left is just one of many words or expressions that are referred to as a contronym, also known as a contronym. A contronym is a word that has 2 meanings that are opposed or virtually opposite from one another. In this illustration, the word left can indicate either leave, 2 people had left, or remain, how many people are left. These 2 meanings are opposites of one another. A word that can be defined as having the opposite meaning as another is called an antonym. Janus words are another name for antonyms and contronyms. Because the ancient Roman god Janus had 2 faces that looked in opposite directions, it is easy to see how he became associated with the concept of contronyms. It may come as a surprise to you to learn that the month of January is also associated with the god Janus. These words are also known as autoantonyms, which simply means a word that signifies the opposite of what it means by itself. Enantiosomy, enantionomy, and antilogy are some of the technical terminology that might be used to describe this occurrence. Even if you don't realize it, it's probable that you are already familiar with a good number of these contronyms. Therefore, before you check out, you should look into some of the more typical ones. Two-point conversion means after scoring a touchdown, a team has the opportunity to try and convert a 2-point play. This is referred to as the 2-point conversion. The offense must start within a short distance of the end zone and successfully complete a play in order to earn the 2 extra points. This play must end with the offensive entering the end zone. Trampoline means let's carry on bouncing, and when we get to the trampoline, let's jump right on in. George Neeson is credited with inventing and receiving a patent for this spring-loaded mechanism in the year 1945. The name trampoline was successfully registered as a trademark by Neeson for his invention. Neeson claims that the word trampoline originates from the Spanish word trampoline, which means diving board. Touchback means a touchback occurs when a punt or kick moves beyond the end zone without the possibility of being caught, or when a kick-receiving player voluntarily kneels down in his or her own end zone immediately after catching a kicked ball. Before the start of the next play, the ball will be moved to the 20-yard line, regardless of the outcome of the previous play. Toe loop means one of the most well-known sports at the Winter Olympics. Figure skating is also considered by many to be the most important competition of the year. The names of the patterns, or figures, that figure skaters drew on the ice during the competition are referenced in the event's name. During the 1990s, this ability was removed from the game's competitive scene, yet, its name has remained. The toe loop is a frequent type of toe jump that figure skaters are required to learn. In this jump, the skater uses the toe pick, which is the serrated piece of the skate blade that is located at the toe of the foot, to propel them into the air. A skater that is performing a toe loop will jump off the ice with one toe pick while maintaining their balance on the ice with their other skate. After completing one complete spin, the skater will land on the outer edge of the same foot that was planted in the ground previously. This is widely regarded as one of the sport's most straightforward leaps. It is quite similar to the Lutz, but the most important distinction is that the toe loop lands on the same foot that the skater jumped off of, whereas the Lutz lands on the opposite foot. Within the realm of Winter Olympic sports, figure skating stands out as a unique exception. The Olympic Winter Games were not staged for the first time until 1924. However, the 1908 Summer Olympics in London were held from April until October and included certain winter activities, including figure skating. When the General Games were held in Antwerp in 1920, figure skating was included as an event for the second time. This was the last time it was included in the General Games before the first Winter Olympics were held in 1924. Figure skating, as it is practiced today, includes competitions for men, women, and pairs, in addition to ice dancing, which was introduced in 1976. Tonka means according to legend. The name of the company that manufactures these strong toy trucks comes from the Dakota Sioux word Tonka, which can be translated as big or great. In the future, the company would change its name to coincide with that of Lake Minnetonka, which was visible from the windows of the company offices. Tiddlywinks means the game of tiddlywinks has been around for quite some time, and its origins may be traced back to Victorian England. It is believed that the term tiddlywinks originated in English slang. This term is a combination of the words tiddly, which means small or little, and a wink, which is a term used to refer to the game pieces. Tiddlywink was a word that was sometimes used to refer to both the game itself as well as the pubs and taverns that were popular places to play the game. Tamagotchi, Atari, and Nintendo means children who came of age in the 80s and 90s should be familiar with this trio of Japanese-sounding names. The word egg comes from the Japanese word tamago, which is mashed up with the English word watch, which is called a yuachi in Japanese. This is where the name Tamagotchi comes from. The phrase "I check" in the game of chess is analogous to the term Atari in the game of Go, which is where the name Atari derives from. The Japanese word Atari is where the name of the American corporation Atari comes from. Many people believe that the characters that make up the name Nintendo represent the phrase, "leave luck up to heaven." When you take into account Nintendo's origins as a company that sold playing cards for use in gambling games, you can see how this translation makes sense. Tight end means the tight end is a hybrid offensive position that performs duties similar to those of a wide receiver and a blocker. Tight ends are often larger athletes that are able to block defensive rushers and are also legally able to catch passes. Tight ends are referred to as tight ends. Sumptuous meaning one may use the word sumptuous to refer to something that is extraordinarily expensive, rich, affluent, or spectacular. Squib kick means a squib kick is a quick and low kick that typically rolls around the ground before it is caught. A squib kick is a short kick that is intended to provide the team that is kicking the ball the benefit of having more players available to tackle whoever ends up with the ball. Sportsball means the outfielder scores a touchdown by dribbling the ball through the goalie's legs. People who admit that they are not knowledgeable or interested in sports often use the phrase sportsball, which can be taken in a moderately critical or amusing manner. It's also a humorous way for sports fans to refer to the games and activities they enjoy watching and participating in. Snatched means it's possible that the reality show RuPaul's Drag Race was the vehicle that introduced this slang term to the general public. Snatched is a term used by Generation Z that denotes a fierce or on point, particularly in reference to the hair, cosmetics, and overall physical appearance of a person. Historically, snatched is a term that originated in the black drag world. In this community, performers frequently wear fake hairpieces known as weaves. Snatched is slang used within the drag community to refer to something or someone who is so great that it makes you want to pull out your weave. Special teams means the players that are on the field for kicking plays are referred to as members of the special teams. Only some players, including kickers and punters, are allowed to participate on special teams. Slew meaning slew is an archaic word that means to cast off anything or to become shed or cast off. The phrase, to get rid of something undesirable or disadvantageous, frequently makes use of this word, and its meaning is derived from that phrase. Smarmy meaning, behaving in a way that sounds polite, pleasant, or pleasing yet is not genuine or convincing, is what we mean when we talk of smarmy behavior. Slaps means the following word is a big smack in the face. To reduce it to its most basic sense, it means to exceed or amaze. You've probably heard the word slap used in connection with music, such as in the phrase, "This tune really slaps." Another term from the past that has made a comeback is this slang term. In the middle of the 1800s, it was used as an adjective meaning of first-rate, and even earlier. In the middle of the 1700s, it was used as an adverb meaning excellently. Slaps were being used to honor a wide variety of accomplishments by at least the early 2000s, ranging from excellent music to delicious cuisine. Hip-hop lingo from the Bay Area is frequently credited as having originated the musical slap. There are a lot of other slang names that use force and motion to characterize outstanding music. Some examples of these terms are bops, whips, and slaps. A song that absolutely thumps can be referred to as a banger. Slalom means one of the challenges is going fast down a hill while skiing. To do so while following a route that zigs and zags through the landscape is a whole different matter. One of the events that can be competed in during alpine skiing is the slalom. The objective of each skier is to make it through a series of gates, which are pairs of poles spaced between 4 and 6 meters, 13 and 19 feet, apart. The winner of the competition is the skier who completes 2 courses in the least amount of time overall. The word slalom originates from the Norwegian language and refers to a sloping track. In the 1936 Olympic Games, held in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany, the slalom was a component of the combined alpine skiing event. However, it did not become its own competition until the 1948 Olympic Games, held in St. Moritz, Switzerland. Today's slalom has the shortest course and the fastest turns, and the vertical descent on the course spans between around 600 and 720 feet for men, and 450 and 600 feet for women in the standalone events. Slalom has the distinction of having the fastest turns. In descending order of length, they are as follows. 1. The Super G. 2. Giant Slalom. 3. Slalom. Slinky means this one is for those of you who are dictionaries fanatics, just like us. Betty James, Richard James's wife and the one responsible for choosing the name of this toy, was the one who came up with the slinky. In 1944, Betty looked up the word slinky in the dictionary, and when she discovered that it meant having graceful movements, she thought that the term was an excellent fit for describing the toy. SKSKSK means SKSKK is an interjection that can be used to communicate a wide range of powerful emotions, including surprise, joy, and others. It's a cliché that VSCO females are always using that expression on social media too much. SKRRT means if we tell you that a slang term is actually an onomatopoeia, would that make it less hip to you? The sound that is intended to be imitated by SKRRT is that of screeching tires, and it is employed as an interjection. For instance, if someone is discussing juicy gossip, a friend of theirs might answer with a SKRRT in order to persuade them to stop talking and reiterate something fascinating that they just said. At the very least, since 2015, people have been using this term, which has a direct correlation to the meteoric rise in popularity of trap music. Simp means the term simp was not created by Generation Z, but this generation has found a way to make it their own. The term simp is an insult that is used for men who are viewed as being too submissive to women, often under the pretense of wanting to attract sexual attention from them. It is crucial to note that this word is frequently used in a sexist manner. However, it is a contentious issue because many people believe that the term is demeaning to women and a method of intimidating males. Although the phrase didn't get widespread popularity until 2019 and early 2020 thanks to TikTok influencers, rappers such as Ice-T and DJ Evil E were already using the term as far back as 1987. Simbang Gabi means the Tagalog phrase, Simbang Gabi, literally translates to unite mass, and this is precisely what is meant to be referred to during the Christmas season. The 9 masses that make up Simbang Gabi take place in the early morning hours of December 16, 17, 18, 23, and 24. In Spain and other nations with significant Catholic populations, this practice is known as the novena, which literally translates to 9. In Spain, the Mass was frequently celebrated in the evening. It was shifted to the early morning hours during the colonial period in the Philippines in order to accommodate farmers during the harvest season, and this shift became a tradition after it was established. Even though many churches also have a night service for individuals who don't want to get up for a 4 a.m. start time, the pre-dawn session is still quite popular among those living in both urban and rural areas of today's world. If you go to all 9 of the night masses leading up to Christmas, there is a widespread notion that your Christmas wish will come true if you put in the effort to do so. In addition, baked rice cakes known as bibingka and steamed rice cakes known as puto bumbong are available for consumption following the early service. Traditional seasonal beverages, such as salabat, ginger tea, are also quite popular. Sinicization means sinicization refers to the spreading of Chinese culture, religion, and politics. The term sinicization has also been used, including by the Chinese government, to refer to China's policy of enforcing the assimilation of ethnic and religious minorities to Chinese practices. The beginning of the term is a version of Sino-, which comes from a Latin word referring to China and is used in many other terms referring to China or Chinese culture, such as sinology. Shotgun means the offensive arrangement known as the shotgun places the quarterback further out from the center of the team's formation than in the traditional position directly behind them. Because the quarterback is positioned further away from the defense in the shotgun configuration, he will have more time to pass the ball once the play has begun. This is one reason why the shotgun formation is so commonly utilized for passing plays. Self-partnered means another term that can be used in place of a single to describe a person's relationship status is self-partnered. It was popularized by Emma Watson in an interview that she gave to Vogue in November of 2019. Say less means saying say less is effectively the same as asking someone to stop talking, which can come across as impolite to certain people. This is a terse and frequently humorous method of expressing that, I get it, or, I get what you're getting at. The R&B singer Ashanti released a new song in 2019 with the title Say Less. It is also the title of an album that was released in 2017 by the Canadian musician Roy Woods. It was first published online in 2011, although it is possible that a skit from 2021 on Saturday Night Live is responsible for the present degree of popularity it has achieved. Scramble means a quarterback scramble occurs when the play that was supposed to be a pass instead results in the quarterback running with the ball. A quarterback who is desperately trying to escape being sacked may often resort to scrambling as a last-ditch effort to protect himself. Schmooze meaning the definition of schmooze is to speak in a nice and seductive manner, particularly so as to obtain favor, business, or relationships. Salient means standing out conspicuously, being prominent, or of notable significance. Sanction means are the government's sanctions going to be enforced? That's correct. Censure is yet another frequent example of a homonym. To sanction means to grant permission, approval, or authorization. Because my parents held the opinion that violent video games were inappropriate for our home, they never bought any for us. Salchow means as is the case in gymnastics. Figure skating tricks are frequently called after the skater or gymnast who originally performed the move. This is the case for the salchow, which is performed by a skater when they jump off the back inside edge of one skate, rotate their entire body, and then land on the back outside edge of the second skate. Ulrik Salchow was a Swedish figure skater who competed between the years 1877 and 1949. Obviously, this is not the only figure skating move that was named after a sportsperson or athlete. For instance, the move known as the axel is a 1.5 rotation forward jump that was named after Axel Paulsen. Edge jumps are those in which the skater takes off from the edge of the skate blade. Examples of edge leaps are the salchow and the axel. Safety means in football, the term safety can refer to two different things. A scoring play known as a safety occurs when an attacking player is brought down inside their own end zone, which results in the awarding of 2 points to the defensive team. A defensive positional player who is often lined up the farthest back from the line of scrimmage is called a safety. Safety is also the name of the position. Sack means a quarterback is sacked if they are tackled behind the line of scrimmage while still in possession of the ball. An instance of this is called a sack. Sa'arawing Pasko means songs spoken around the Christmas season have a way of getting to one's sentimental side. A song about going back to one's hometown for the Christmas holidays is referred to in Sa'arawing Pasko, which translates to on Christmas Day. The fact that millions of Filipinos work outside the nation gives this a unique significance in the country, as Christmas is the one time of year when families can get together. The lyrics discuss the joy that one hopes for their loved ones as well as the anticipation of returning to their own homes. Sa'arawing Pasko is a tradition that dates back several decades, but it is still widely practiced during the months of UBR, as a component of the homecoming celebration. Round the bases means bases aren't simply for baseball. They also have a history as terms that are commonly used in the dating world. People often referred to the many degrees of physical intimacy that might exist as bases, particularly in the 1980s and 1990s. As an illustration, to engage in petting that goes no further than kissing is the definition of a first base. With each new foundation comes an increase in the number of physically intimate activities. The act of advancing through these acts in order to reach whatever act of perhaps intercourse could be considered a home run is referred to as rounding the bases. Romanization means the cultural influence exercised by the Roman Empire is frequently referred to as a Romanization, which is a term that can be found in many dictionaries. Romanization took place on a massive scale because the Roman Empire at its height encompassed such a wide variety of countries and cultures. The legacy of Romanization can be seen even today in the numerous languages, architectural styles, and cultural practices that continue to draw inspiration from Roman culture. Regalo means the word gift is conveyed by the Spanish word regalo, which is used interchangeably in the Philippines and other Spanish-speaking countries. The original meaning of the term feast can be traced back to the Middle French word regale. The term a gift or bonus is more common in contemporary usage. There is no denying the significance of presents within the Christmas celebration, both in the Philippines and abroad. Rejuvenate meaning, to make young or youthful again, or to provide new power or energy to, is what it means to rejuvenate. Regnant means regnant implies a reigning or a dominant. Rationed means this slang phrase from the 1940s has a fascinating backstory. Rationing of food and other products was a prevalent practice during World War II. A fixed allowance of provisions or food, particularly for soldiers or sailors or for civilians during times of shortage, this is what a ration is. In what way does this pertain to going on dates? Rationed, on the other hand, developed into a kind of slang term for the practice of asking women if they were in a relationship or if they were available. To answer the question, are you rationed? It's not exactly a romantic gesture to compare women to limited resources like stamps, so it's perhaps not surprising that this one gradually fell into disuse and obscurity over time. Red zone means the region between the opposing team's end zone and the 20-yard line is known as the red zone. Radio flyer means radio flyer, the name of the firm that manufactures these cute little red wagons, is frequently used as a common moniker for them. Originally, the wagons were known as the Liberty Coasters, after the Statue of Liberty, which was their inspiration for the moniker. After the Liberty Coaster Company began producing a wider variety of toys, its creator, Antonio Pazin, decided to rebrand the enterprise with a name that paid homage to his two favorite forms of transportation, the radio and the aeroplane. Since that time, the term radio flyer has been prominently displayed on the sides of the wagons. Rapinoeing means rapinoeing is a popular victory stance that was called after Megan Rapinoe, a famous player in the sport of professional soccer. It is a display of self-assurance and excitement that involves raising and stretching out both arms at an angle over the head. Pulchritude means in this issue of the magazine, there is a photo essay that focuses on famous people who are renowned for their Hollywood popularity and their pulchritude. Prosaic meaning prosaic is a synonym for dull, unimaginative, daily, or ordinary, although its original meaning was typical of prose as contrasted from poetry. Prose is a kind of writing that is distinguished from poetry. Priority means when one's life gets hectic, it can be simple to lose track of the things that are truly important. To make priority your purpose for the year means to give some thought to the things that are most important to you and to make a conscious effort to spend more of your time on those activities. Presence means because we live in a world that is so full of distractions, it can be challenging to feel as though you are totally present in the moment. Because it encourages you to be present for yourself as well as for the people around you in all of the significant and insignificant moments of your life, presence is an excellent topic for the year. Predilection meaning a natural like for something, or an inclination to do or be attracted to something, is what we mean when we talk about a predilection. Porch pirate means a person who takes packages that have been delivered to front doorsteps or porches is known as a porch pirate. They are especially prevalent during the Christmas season, when many people shop online for gifts and have them delivered to their homes. Pogs means alongside the Furby and the Tickle Me Elmo, Pogs, sometimes known as milk caps, were another toy that became extremely popular in the 1990s. At its inception, the game was played with the bottle caps that were removed from milk or POG juice bottles. The juice known as POG gets its name from the combination of passion fruit, orange, and guava nectar that is used to make it. Pogo stick means the history of where the term pogo stick came from is actually a bit of a mystery. Several toys that resembled springy stilts or hopping sticks were likely inspired by patent applications that were submitted by a variety of different inventors. In the 1920s, two German men named Max Pollock and Ernst Gottschall submitted a patent application for one of these inventions. The names Pollock and Gottschall are said to have inspired the word pogo to be used in reference to the toy that bears their names. At the moment, a conclusive response to this one is not available. Pocket means when the quarterback is trying to throw the ball, they have to maneuver around in a space called the pocket, which is a physical location. Once the play has begun, the offensive lineman will frequently step backward to create a horseshoe-like formation around the quarterback in order to protect them. The offensive linemen are doing their best to stop a defensive player from approaching the quarterback from this direction and tackling him. Pitted means in the context of a grocery store, the acronym pitted frequently leads to misunderstandings. Pitted, characterized by the presence of pits, as a mark or indent. Due to exposure to the wind and salt water, the face of the sailor had become pitted and rugged. Pick six means it is referred to as a pick six when a defensive player intercepts a pass and then returns it for a touchdown. This type of play results in a score. Piggyback meaning the meanings of the verb piggyback include to function or be carried on or as if on the back of another, and to put up or induce to function in conjunction with something larger, more important, or already in existence or operation. Perfunctory meaning perfunctory is used to describe something that is done without energy or enthusiasm, as a duty or out of habit. PAT means PAT is an abbreviation that stands for a point after touchdown, and it is also referred to as an additional point. Following the successful completion of a touchdown, a team has the option of attempting either 1 or 2 extra points. It is necessary for the team's kicker to properly complete a kick for the PAT in order for the team to score an extra point. Parole means the most common form of holiday decoration in the Philippines is the parole, which may be found among the Christmas trees and many images of Santa Claus. It is simply a star or a shape that resembles a star, and it can be as small as something you might hold in your hand or as large as something that could be paraded through the streets. Due to the length of time required to put them together, these enormous ones are frequently produced at various times throughout the year. Parole are typically very brightly colored, have elaborate designs made of glass, metal, plastic, paper, and other materials, and are illuminated in some way. Parole can be found in a variety of countries. The term parole originates from the Spanish word farol, which means lantern. Parole is derived from this last aspect. The parole is said to represent the star that above Bethlehem. San Fernando is widely regarded as one of the most important cities for the drug parole. Since the 1700s, this location has been the site of processions carrying lanterns in honor of Our Lady of La Naval, also known as the Virgin Mary. In other places, they were once used to illuminate the path leading to Simbang Gabi by being hung from windows. Even in modern times, they continue to serve as a major symbol of the Christmas season. In addition, the parole are exceedingly detailed, which is a significant departure from the rice paper and bamboo parole of days gone by. Parcel meaning a vast number or quantity of something is referred to as a parcel. Parking means if you think of vehicles when you hear the word parking, then you're thinking in the right direction. Parking is a slang term that means the act of kissing and stroking in a parked car. It is synonymous with the term necking. This usage reached its peak of popularity in the 1940s and 1950s, probably as a result of the expansion of car culture and the advent of drive-in movie theaters, both of which altered the dynamics of dating at the time. Parking means if the word parking makes you think of cars, you're on the right track. Similar to necking, parking is a slang term for the act of kissing and caressing in a parked car. This usage was most popular in the 40s and 50s, likely due to the rise of car culture and drive-in movie theaters, changing the landscape of dating. Pamasco means it is possible that the term regalo, which derives from Spanish, serves as the common word for gift, although the word pamasco is more particular. Pamasco is the term used specifically for a Christmas present, as opposed to the more generic phrase, gift. Learn some of the terms from the Philippines that have made their way into the English language. and you'll be able to keep the cultural celebrations going strong. Overlook means it is strongly suggested that you pay close attention to the following neologism. To fail to see, perceive, or take into consideration. I had not finished the last 2 problems of my homework, but I hoped my instructor would overlook this and award me full points nevertheless. Palindrome meaning a phrase, verse, or sentence, such as Abel was I ere I saw Elba, or a number, such as 2002, that reads the same backward or forward is called a palindrome. Palindromes can also be numbers. Original means a good example of a contronym is the adjective original, which, like the expression back up, has 2 meanings that are nearly synonymous with one another. Being original means being associated with the beginning of something. The painting had not been moved from its original frame despite the fact that it was hundreds of years old. Ottomanization means the term Ottomanization refers to the process through which the people and regions that were governed by the Ottoman Empire adopted the culture of the Ottoman Empire. Throughout history, this phrase has been used to refer to the process through which the Christian and Greek traditions of the Byzantine Empire gave way to the Islamic and Turkish customs, traditions, and culture of the Ottoman Empire.